That's what she speculated.
Well, that's what I thought, but
She didn't hear anything. That was her assumption. It was wind related.
got me again.
That sounds like any good
I
answer.
appreciate that.
But she didn't. I asked her to look into it.
okay.
All right.
At this point, I'm just curious, but
I know 3 hours is a long time. But if it's wind related, that makes sense because they were probably out on a lot of wind related calls, I would think.
yeah, because like I said, it didn't go after all the way to Crown Point.
Where they were, yeah. All right. I really didn't help you much, did I?
Well, I had a photo for today's district, I didn't know if I found out, but I didn't find out.
Michael, did you hear why there was wind yesterday, or why there was power outage yesterday? Did you guys ever hear? You didn't respond to anything, did you? Oh,
We did.
You know, the funny thing is, at the studio, part of my lights went out and part of them didn't.
you're on the line.
It's like the traffic signals, they were out here, one there, out here.
I've never, well, in one building though.
Yeah,
I could not figure that one out.
All right. We'll discuss that. We'll call the meeting to order. Appreciate all your attendance here today. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. All right, thank you. All right, so let the minutes reflect. We are all here, present, in person. We do have a quorum. There are no absences. We will start with the approval of the minutes from the October 5th meeting.
Mayor, having read the minutes, I would make a motion to approve as submitted.
I second.
Thank you, Michael. Second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. So, we've got a couple months' worth of activities, both September and October, to consider here today, so let's just dive right in. We'll start with the monthly reports. I'll just ask you to do the September report, Mike, and then just go right into the October report.
September report, 302 response calls, of which were 84 of them were fire-related incidents. You're going to notice there's quite a bit of fire reports listed. $269,600 in damage due to pretty much because of the residential fire out on Stag Drive. That was pretty much a total loss. It was a fire that started in a bedroom, bathroom area, out through a window, up through the vinyl soffit and into the attic before we were notified. Medical calls, going on to the next page, you'll see pretty much about the same. District 1, which is your Station 1 downtown's 98. District 2, Station 2 out on East Center Street, 75. 31 calls out of Station 3, and you know that we have added the CARES calls into that underneath the admin section, and there was 14 calls listed for the month of September. Motor vehicle accidents, 5, 2, and 1.
That's a pretty new, that CARES.
CARES
line
program
is a pretty
report,
new one.
that is correct.
Are you
We did it.
happy with that, or do you feel
Oh,
like
you-
the word's getting out? And
Yeah, you'll wait till we get to October,
Okay.
and then wait till we get to November.
Yeah, this is, we just actually had this discussion. This is a fledgling program that is literally starting right now. And we're trying to crawl a little bit because we know that the demand is probably going to be there, but we want to make purposeful, deliberate calls, make sure that we've got our protocols down. We're going to take our time developing this. But I think, as Mike said, as Chief said, you're going to find that there certainly is a demand. But thanks for the question, because this is the first month it's been on, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And then if you go on down through the report, calls are about the same as they have been with False alarms are down just a little bit, I noticed. So Station 1, if you get all the way down to the bottom of that report, Station 1 had 136 calls, Station 2 had 107, 45 for Station 3, and 14 for the admin staff. Community service hours, we list on here the COVID shot clinics, CPR classes, car seat checks. We were involved in 9/11 ceremony and parade. We had antique trucks on display, our normal smoke detector installs, and then critical incident stress programs. We served about 664 individuals for the community service. And then as you, on your own, you want to look through, you can see the rest of the report that's there.
Questions? All right, let's move on to October.
So the October report, 291 responses, 105 fire-related, 186 were medical or cares. The dollar amount of loss is a lot less. It's like 2,000, a little over 2,000 in damage.
What page you on, Chief?
I'm on the first page.
No, up here. What page?
Oh.
Up here.
Close out of that.
You're on the next one?
Yeah, we're on
Gotcha.
October.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And you're in finance, so where's your report?
I opened them all up and now I'm probably, sorry. We'll try, just open it again.
There you go.
Thank you.
We did some assist to other agencies. You'll see we went to Atwood, Sydney, Atwood twice. One of them they were both for structure fires. And we assisted on a medical call to Parkview EMS. Winona Lake and Leesburg did not come to us any during that month. And if I go down to the medical calls, you'll see that Station 1 was 77. Station 2 was 68, and Station 3 was 17. But then look at the CARES call. And these were all handled either by an on-duty crew going there, and Chris and I were not available, like at nighttime. But there was 18 out of Station 1, and 5 out of Station 2, and 1 out of Station 3. Couple of elevator rescues. We had some problems with retired Tigers, which I think the fire marshal has worked with them and got that situation taken care of. I was trying to think there was something else. Fire alarms, as you notice, are still about 20 a month. So Station 1, 144 calls, Station 2, 115, Station 3, 29, and admin handled 3. And again, there's your community service hours of about 28 hours, working with 256 individuals, COVID shot clinics, and that's registered even if Chris goes out and does one shot to a shut-in, or if we do a clinic somewhere. Pub ed tours, car seat checks, and again, some critical incident stress management details. And these were for Warsaw PD due to the loss of an officer. And then you can look down if you want. The rest of them, the training hours are there like we normally put in, and where we did what with critical incident stress or with community reports, community service. Run volume's running about the same. We're probably going to run over about 3,200 calls for the year if we stay on track.
All right. Any further comments? Questions?
When I started in the fire department in 2001, full-time, we did 1,200 calls.
Yeah.
2001, 1,200 calls, and now 30, how many?
Oh, we'll be at 3,200
3 times.
easily.
Yeah. Crazy.
All right. Let's move on to item 3. Lutheran will provide us with the monthly report.
I brought a guest with me today. This is Rob Smith. He is our regional director that recently started back in September.
Hi, Rob.
That meeting. So Rob Kosciuszko, Fulton, and Miami along with Porter. So if I'm not present, Rob would likely come to give reports, so I wanted you guys to meet him and know that he's another resource for us for Lutheran. So for this month's report, one thing that you guys will notice is that we have changed charting systems, and in that process, we've changed reporting systems. So the report that you got for October will be 1 page less than it was for September, and that's simply because the reporting software is not set up to give that staged report of what station they were returning from. Since realizing that middle way through October, November, we have implemented a new process to be able to still report that information to you guys, but it'll likely be until after the first of the year before we have the accurate data in order to give that report. So if you guys are looking at this wondering where that report number is, that's what's going on with that. So to kind of look over the last couple of months, what's been going on with us, you'll see in October, our run volume went up significantly. One thing that we have noticed is that our COVID numbers are skyrocketing, unfortunately, once again. Kosciuszko County, admission-wise, we are the second in our Lutheran Health Network through KCH with the number of COVID admits. So unfortunately, COVID has also struck our own department, and so we have several staff members currently out with it, unfortunately, as well. So you'll see that, like I said, you'll kind of notice in October, there's a couple runs where it says the false alarm or unfounded no patients, along with the treatment and no transport. Those are recorded as zeros. Not because those didn't happen, just because of the new reporting software that those are included in some of the other ones. So you'll see, like, for example, the call canceled is now showing up as almost double, and that's just because some of those other calls are now included in that call canceled one. So with that being said, though, when you go through and you look at the hours of runs, call volume, things of that nature, you'll see it's pretty consistent through what we've seen through the year. And along with our response times, one thing that you'll notice is that our national average, as we said, is about 5 to 8 minutes. Our average response time is still being consistently held at 4 minutes. So great times there. Our scene time, you'll notice this past month in October was slightly longer. However, the acuity level of the patients that we are seeing and transporting requires significantly higher treatments on scene before we can transport them and stabilize them. So it's not a surprise that that was a little bit longer. But one thing that you will see is that the transport time is significantly lower in the month of October than it has been in previous months. And a lot of that reason is because not just locally, but a lot of the critical hospitals in the area are on diversion and not accepting patients. And so we are trying to keep as many patients at our local facilities as possible, not just for their sake, but to make sure that they're still able to get access to health care. So unfortunately, it's something that our entire society is dealing with at this point. So one thing I did want to rebuttal, I'm not sure if you guys saw the recent news article that talked about the new COVID mandate that was put out by CMS. And there was some concerns about paramedic coverage. I am happy to report that because of that mandate, we did lose 3 part-time staff members, but we did not lose any full-time staff members. So our coverage, our employee coverage, all of that has been consistent for us. So we did not see any effects from that. So, any questions?
Nope. Anybody else?
Questions?
All right. That CMS mandate, my understanding is the circuit courts put a stay on that.
They did.
So,
They put a temporary hold on it, so what that means and how long that'll hold, we don't know.
right.
But the good news is that all of our staff were set up for if they would release that hold, it won't change our staffing, so that's good.
All right. Thank you very much. Nice meeting you. All right. Let's move on to item 4, which would be expenditure reports from the operating fund and equipment replacement fund. I think what we'll do is we'll consider each of these individually, so let's go through them one at a time. We'll start with the September 2021, the Operational Fund 103. Are there questions on any of the expenditures presented? Oh, come on. Okay. Well, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the expenditures presented in Operating Fund 103 for September 2021?
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we'll move on to Operating Fund 103, the October expenditures. Let me rephrase that question a little bit. Michael, is there anything you wish to point out?
Your fuel's about the same, but you notice just a little bit of increase on diesel because we have done a complete driver operator training course. You'd be surprised the guys that like work at Station 3 that don't have the opportunity to drive the ladder truck. So this, and even the EMS chief will probably comment on that, but so it did take a little bit more fuel than normal to get through the month and getting those drivers, but they've all been through, and pretty much everybody's been kind of certified. There's still some tests to take, but it's something that's good to do, so that'll happen every couple of years. But other than that, I don't have anything else other to report out of it.
There don't appear to be any significant expenditures other than fuels and
Yeah, that's it.
Utilities and salaries. Okay.
$1,586.17 on October 1st, and it just says Lake City Bank Visa. There's nothing else in there. And fire department.
Visa bill for, either in October,
1,500.
1,500, that's,
Yep.
yeah, that could be, sometimes that's parts, sometimes that's travel. I would have to pull the actual invoice unless Shirley can remember what it was.
Not sure where are you looking at, Brandon?
It's October 1st.
Which appropriation? I'm sorry.
103 for October, and he's probably,
October?
yeah,
September?
October.
Oh, we're in
October 1st.
October. Maybe that's my problem.
Page 8, it looks like.
Yeah, 6.
6. There's a Visa on 8 as well, so let's go to 6.
One says fire department. Oh, boy.
Yeah, usually in the description, there's something there that clues us in, but
Bless you.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I'm not sure why they say fire department on it. It's under 32. It would have to be travel.
That would have
Pretty
been
much.
travel in August or first part of September, because that bill comes in towards the first part, like you see, October 1st.
320, yeah.
Pretty much travels.
Travel and
under the
communications.
32 appropriation comes under our 32. We don't have a lot other that would come under 32 in the credit card part of it, so. We have two different Lake City bank accounts. One's the community card that the guys have individual cards that they use when they travel. And then we have a city
So I
card.
think
So that would be the two of those.
I think in September, you also had Nate and Pfeiffer fly out west for class.
Yeah, the invoice dates on these two are about a month apart. So I don't know, Brendan, do you want that detail before you make a
No,
decision?
I just thought I'd just bring it to your attention in case it was, I'm not concerned, it just seemed a little weird that it was just
Yeah, I
said
don't know
Visa and
why
there
they
was no
were-
other description, but.
Well, on this,
An even amount.
they're not going to do that on this reporting software. I mean, it's not going to give you the detail on a bill. I suppose you could break every expense down if you wanted to, but
No. No, a lot of them have descriptions, but that's not a big deal.
all right. If there are any other questions, I'd ask for a motion to approve.
So moved?
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Next would be Fund 410, which is equipment replacement. Looks like you got some radios.
That is a set of radio system that will be going into battalion. If you remember right, we spread those out over
And then the
3 months.
mobile lifts? Is
Yes,
this-
so that is our
Yeah.
portion of the mobile list for the street department. They have, us, wastewater, and street department went together and bought a complete set of 6 lifts to be able to lift the equipment to work on it. They can actually get the ladder truck up in the air to be able to work underneath it. A big asset for Damien and his crew. And we split that 3 ways.
And those things are awesome.
Yeah.
They can lift that pumper. Can they lift the ladder truck?
Yes, sir.
Chief, I have a question. The county's giving money to all the departments for radios, and we've appropriated and spent money for radios. Will we get, will we be compensated?
No, that'll be,
Or is
Mike, that discussion's coming up under new business.
yeah.
There's- Yeah, we'll get to
Okay.
that. But thank you. That's a good question.
Okay.
All right. All right, so is there a motion to accept equipment replacement 10 for September?
So made.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those lifts are game changers. They're safe, and they will allow them to work on that equipment in a much easier fashion than what they're used to. So kudos to you for your collaboration with the other departments to purchase those.
It worked out well.
Yeah, they're amazing. All right, let's go to the October, same fund, the Equipment Replacement Fund 410. Looks like there's been some dollars spent there.
That's the testing from Hoosier Fire for repair and flow testing on all of our SCBA's. And then all the light system that went on to 1304.
Questions? All right, is there a motion to approve the expenditures for 410 for October?
I so move.
All right, thanks, Gordy. Is there a second?
Second?
All right, further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. All right, let's jump into new business. We'll start with the Ipap grant.
Remember, we came to you, Assistant Chief Bollinger come to you with a request to apply for the IPAP safety grant. We were awarded. This is permission to come to you to accept. I will tell you that this had to be sent in prior to today's meeting to IPAP. It was a pretty quick turnaround, so it did go to the Board of Works on the 3rd. So it's coming to you just to make sure you were fine with us getting the money. We were awarded $1,650.
Can't say no to that. I approve. Make a
All
motion.
right, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Great. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right,
Thank you, Chief.
I'm going to do a slight preamble to this discussion on the Kosciuszko County Rescue Plan Act. The county has been working hard to upgrade communications, emergency communications in the county for 4 or 5 years. And this is but a portion of it. This is to provide radios for all emergency services in the county, county fire, police, in all departments, sheriff's department. These are, I believe there's mobile and portable radios in this. Mike, you were at the meeting the other day. I don't recall the total amount, but these were dollars that were approved. These are ARPA funds that were approved by the county committee. They were then approved by the county council and then, or a joint meeting, I believe it was, between the council and the commission. So they have spent, I think it was over $1 million, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
The total for radios for the entire county, so that when they get their towers up, we will have a significant improvement in emergency communications. The city of Warsaw was a part of that, and the police department, you'll see, was $83,000, $124.12, and the Warsaw-Wayne Township Fire Territory was $69,513.60. So the county's ARPA funds supported the purchase, or is supporting the purchase of those radios, and that's really how this all came about. Mike, any comments on that?
That is to the point. That is correct. We had a PO pulled for this, for all the mobiles to go in, all the apparatus, writing apparatus, and thanks to the county, that PO will be canceled, and that'll be another rollover fund that'll just stay in our unexpended.
It could be turned back as a line 2 cut at the end of next year, because it was in the 20.
It's in this
22
year's budget.
Was it in this year's budget?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there you go. So that will roll over, but won't be allocated, Mike, so.
Perfect.
All right.
So this was, again, one of those short-lived, quick, here we got to do this thing, and the mayor had done it before the Board of Works last Friday, and I hand-carried it back over to them so that they could move forward with it. So it's coming to you. That was approved at the Board of Works on the 3rd, for your information on how we did it.
So what remains now is for those towers, the construction of those towers to occur, and Mike, your timeline,
We're looking
their
at
timeline
hopefully
is-
to be able to test those towers in March or April. I will report that all the new console systems are in at Central Dispatch. The system's in. As soon as they get the towers built, there'll be a test period. That test period is important to be in the spring because it needs to be tested with new leaves coming on the trees because of foliage. It'll be a 30-day test period, and then we will be live, so.
And we've also had some discussions with the county. I know the cost of those towers, obviously, they've run into some increases, if you will, as they've worked through this. And I'll be talking to our ARPA committee later this week about assisting with funds from our ARPA funds for the towers. I know we'd been in discussion with that group, that communications group, when that all first started, and we'd gone in with the expectation that the city would be involved in support of that. So I think we're getting close to maybe looking at a specific amount and being able to assist with that. Because it will certainly benefit our city. Those towers will create a significant improvement in that 700 and 800 megahertz communications. Questions? Okay, so I'm going to ask for your permission to apply. Again, the Board of Works had to do this. There was a timing concern, but I would still ask for your permission to apply for this grant, which we've received. But again, public acknowledgement by this board that that's what's happened. So is there a motion to approve permission to apply for the Kosciuszko County American Rescue Plan Act funds?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right, further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Item number 3 provider unit, participating unit, executive board appointments. Jeannie, what do you think? We all set for next year?
I feel like we are, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess there's no real surprises. Before you is next year's board. Sitting up here, all have agreed, and the city, by the agreement, appoints two, Councilman Clondaris and myself. Jeannie appoints two from the township, and then we agree on one, which we've done with Brandon. So, Jeannie, I assume you and if you want to announce that you and Gordy are hanging in there.
We're hanging in here. Gordy's going to be with me.
All right, so the appointments will stay the same. We will do oaths of office next month, but wanted to make sure that you were aware that was going on. I do believe also that we are required to name our fire chief at the first of the year, and I don't know that it's a surprise, but Chief Wilson is entering the drop program June 1 in 2022. So we are actually in the middle of the hiring process right now for a new chief. Our intention is to name that chief at the first of the year, but we'll have to see how that goes. Chief may be chief for a couple of weeks, and then we may have to name another chief. But Chief's going to stay on through his retirement and assist with the transition. And obviously, there'll be we're still in the process, so there's nothing to announce yet. But I don't know that we've formally made the announcement that Mike has entered the drop program, and it's probably time to make that announcement.
Yep, June 1st. So it's been very much an honor to be able to be the fire chief for the territory. The board's been excellent with me. I really appreciate everything you've done and support to our direction. And would like to make the one of you to acknowledge that, and instead of appointing today, that we wait till that January meeting to appoint the new fire chief.
Are we all right with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. That's what we'll do. And I'll say a whole bunch of nice things about you then.
Okay. 2 minutes worth.
You got it. No, really appreciate Mike has been my second fire chief, has done a marvelous job over the last 7 years. Yeah, got a lot done, got a new station built, and we've kept our guys trained and equipped, and done a great job as we're moving into setting the table to move into the future with our mental health initiative, the CARES program, and potentially looking at the future of emergency medical services. Not knowing where we're going to land, I think it's important that we're ready to go when it's time to do whatever needs to happen, if that makes sense. There's so much in the way of emergency services as far as different types of technical rescue and dive, and our guys are trained and ready to roll.
Just keeps growing.
Keeps growing. So, and again, Mike, you've done a great job getting us to this point, and we're most thankful for it. So what are you going to do when you retire? You don't have to answer that. I'm just putting you on the spot.
Well, the wife says I can't stay home. I can go work at Walmart, but I am going to.
All right, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
All right. So, there you go. All right, let's move into travel requests. Looks like we have two. Drew Schilling, Lieutenant Schilling, is going to Addison, Michigan for ice rescue training.
Of which he'll bring back and support, train all of the guys that's on the team. And then Joel Schilling and Jason Neer are going to another class on structural firefighting.
All right. Any questions on the travel requests? Is there a motion to approve?
Make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, appreciate it. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Any other matters come before the board?
The January meeting
Oh, yes.
change.
I'm going to be gone and not back for your January meeting. We've looked at a couple of calendar dates.
Oh,
So the one that's, we've kind of selected, if it will work with you guys, is, what's the date, Shirley? The 10th?
I have, yeah, Monday, January 10th.
10th, the first, that Monday on,
Well, that's a conflict for me
okay.
because of the redevelopment. That's why we meet here on Tuesdays. So if we could do it the 11th, just push it back a week.
Mike, did they move the redevelopment from the 3rd? Because this is the 10th, this is the second Monday. I've got redevelopment as the 3rd unless they've changed that.
I,
Redevelopment's always on the first
right, and I
Monday.
won't be here for that, so you're right. I would be here unless they move it back.
I mean, I don't think they are because it's post-holiday. I mean, Stacy pretty much keeps me up to date here, so
Okay.
let's just
There wasn't
assume,
anything scheduled for in here for that,
Okay.
on that day.
let's just assume that it is the 10th because that's what shows on my calendar.
Okay.
Stacy's already moved it to the 10th and indicates that oaths will be given at that meeting. So that's the one be sure you all are here for.
I'm good for the 10th.
And Mike, you're going to be back for the 10th.
Yes,
Okay.
and hopefully you'll have a new fire chief that we can swear in that day.
All right.
So Monday, 10th at 3 o'clock.
4.
4.
Oh, I'm sorry, 4 o'clock. That's why I asked.
All right. All right, anybody else? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
It's actually better because before that got cold.
I have some minutes.